What do Blockbuster, Kodak, and Nokia have in common? These billion-dollar giants once ruled their industries, but all fell prey to the same business problem. Today, we'll examine what happens when companies suffer from a case of marketing myopia, and thus explain how these multi-billion-dollar giants fell by the wayside. Welcome to another episode of Business Sherlock, where we investigate the most fascinating phenomena in the business world. Today, we'll see how some of the biggest names in business lost it all by failing to see beyond their own success. So grab your magnifying glass and put on your detective hat. We're about to uncover the mystery of marketing myopia and how it brought down some of the most iconic brands in history. But first, what exactly is marketing myopia? The term was coined by Theodore Levitt, a faculty at Harvard Business School, in his 1960 Harvard Business Review article. His seminal paper is just as relevant today as it was then. Marketing myopia is like wearing blinders in a race. You're so focused on what's directly in front of you, your current products or short-term profits, that you fail to see the bigger picture. You forget to ask the crucial question, what business are we really in? Let's start our investigation with a name that was once synonymous with movie nights: Blockbuster. In the 1990s, Blockbuster was the undisputed king of video rentals. With over 9,000 stores worldwide, it seemed like the company couldn't be beaten. But as we now know, Blockbuster's reign was about to come to a dramatic end. In 2000, Netflix approached Blockbuster with an offer to sell their company for $50 million. Blockbuster, confident in its brick-and-mortar model, turned them down. Fast forward to today, and Netflix is worth $300 billion. While Blockbuster, well, let's just say you'd have better luck finding a VHS player than a Blockbuster store. So what went wrong? Blockbuster suffered from a classic case of marketing myopia. They saw themselves as a video rental store, not an entertainment provider. They were so focused on optimizing their late fees and store layouts that they missed the digital revolution happening right under their noses. Compare this to Netflix, whose CEO Reed Hastings claimed in 2017 that they were competing with sleep and anything else humans do to relax. A business should not be defined by its current products or services. Instead, the focus should be on the fundamental need that customers are fulfilling through the business. Blockbuster thought they were in the video rental business, but they were really in the home entertainment business. By the time they realized this, it was too late. Now let's shift our focus from moving pictures to still ones. The unmistakable sound of a Kodak moment. For over a century, Kodak was the undisputed leader in photography. They didn't just dominate the market, they created it. "Take a Kodak with you" was more than a slogan. It was a way of life. But in 2012, this photography giant filed for bankruptcy. How did a company that literally invented the digital camera end up missing the digital revolution? You see, Kodak's marketing myopia came in the form of a picture they didn't want to develop. In 1975, a Kodak engineer created the first digital camera. But instead of embracing this new technology, Kodak suppressed it. They were afraid it would cannibalize their highly profitable film business. Kodak saw itself as a film company, not an imaging company. They were so focused on maintaining their film sales that they missed the bigger picture. Pun intended. By the time they realized their mistake, the market had moved on without them. Current success should not cause a business to be blind to future opportunities. Sometimes you need to be willing to disrupt yourself before someone else does it for you. Now let's shift our focus from photography to a brand that was once the cornerstone of American retail, but failed to adapt to the changing landscape. That brings us to Sears, once the largest retailer in the United States and a pioneer in catalog sales. In the 20th century, Sears was more than just a department store. It was a cultural institution. Known for its massive catalogs and expansive stores, Sears brought everything from appliances to apparel to countless American homes. It was the go-to destination for shoppers across the country. But as the 21st century unfolded, Sears began to lose its grip on the retail market. By 2018, Sears filed for bankruptcy, a shadow of its former self. What went wrong? Sears suffered from a classic case of marketing myopia by failing to recognize the seismic shifts in retail. As consumers increasingly turned to online shopping for convenience and better prices, Sears remained focused on its traditional brick-and-mortar model and its catalog business. They saw themselves as a department store first, rather than as a retailer that could adapt to new consumer behaviors. While competitors like Walmart and Amazon embraced the digital revolution, expanding their online presence and optimizing their supply chains, Sears continued to invest in its physical stores, neglecting the importance of e-commerce and failing to innovate its shopping experience. The result? Sears became irrelevant in the face of modern retail giants who understood the power of digital transformation. What was once the largest retailer in America became a cautionary tale of what happens when a company fails to evolve with its customers. The Sears story tells us that even the most established brands can fall if they fail to adapt to changing market dynamics. Sears saw itself as a department store in a world that was rapidly moving online, and by the time they realized their mistake, it was too late. From the store, let's now land in the playroom with our next example of marketing myopia.
I don't want to grow up, I want to grow up. I don't want to grow up.
For generations, that sound was often accompanied by a trip to Toys R Us. This toy retailer was once a childhood paradise, a wonderland of endless aisles filled with every toy imaginable. But in 2017, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy, crushed under the weight of debt and online competition. How did the biggest toy store chain in the world end up in the clearance bin of business history? Toys R Us fell victim to marketing myopia by clinging to its identity as a big-box retailer in an increasingly digital world. They saw themselves as a toy store, not as a gateway to play and imagination. In a fateful decision, Toys R Us outsourced its online presence to Amazon in 2000, missing out on the e-commerce boom. By the time they realized their mistake and tried to build their own online platform, they were years behind their competitors. The moral of this story? Don't outsource your future. In today's digital age, online presence is just as important, if not more so, than the physical one. Now let's pull out our mobile phones for our final example. And trust me, these stories are anything but smart. The iconic Nokia ringtone. Once upon a time, it was as ubiquitous as smartphone notifications are today. In the early 2000s, Nokia was the undisputed king of mobile phones. They had over 40% of the global market share, and their phones were known for their durability and long battery life. Nokia was so dominant that it seemed unthinkable they could ever be dethroned. But then came the iPhone in 2007, and Nokia's empire crumbled. By 2013, their market share had plummeted to just 3%. What happened? Nokia's marketing myopia came in the form of complacency and overconfidence. They were so focused on hardware and their current success that they underestimated the importance of software and user experience. Nokia saw itself as a phone company, not a mobile computing company. They failed to recognize that phones were becoming handheld computers, complete with app ecosystems and intuitive interfaces. Nokia shows that a business can never afford to rest on its laurels. Today's market leader can become tomorrow's cautionary tale if they fail to innovate and adapt. Marketing myopia can affect even the mightiest of companies. It's not enough to be successful today. You need to constantly look towards the future and be willing to reinvent yourself. In today's fast-paced business world, it's not the biggest or strongest companies that survive, but those most adaptable to change. What do you think? Can you think of any other companies suffering from marketing myopia today? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more Business Sherlock investigations. Until next time, keep your business vision 2020.